Well, the highly anticipated Obi-Wan Legacy Lightsaber miraculously just showed up at Disneyland here recently. Finally got our hands on one. We're going to take a look at it, deep dive style, next. So stick around. That's right, folks. Recently, we actually had the Obi-Wan series, I guess you could say, Legacy Lightsaber that just all of a sudden showed up. By mistake, maybe? Who knows? Planned? Maybe so. Over at Disneyland in California. Has yet to show up at Walt Disney World in Orlando. So, if you're like me, you may have had a pre-order that you put in that got canceled. That's right, folks. Shop Disney has canceled a lot of pre-orders. And if you saw my post on Facebook a couple weeks back, you'll know that mine got canceled by their error. I was upset. You know, I got an email stating that they were wanting to double check my payment type just to make sure everything was good. So I called them on the phone, made sure everything was set up. The rep that I talked to, cast member, whatever you want to call them, assured me that there was no issues. Everything was going to be fine. I wasn't going to lose my pre-order. And then on August 5th, I got an email that said that my pre-order was canceled. Was not a happy person. Probably like many of you guys that have had your order canceled. I got on the phone with Shop Disney and talked to a couple different people, and I have finally got a hold of a supervisor trying to figure out what I could do. And unfortunately, they told me that because of the fact that it does list it as sold out, there's nothing they can do. So even though all these pre-orders were being canceled and essentially stock being released to be able to be available for people to pick up, they couldn't do anything about it. So I was forced to reach out to some of the West Coast scavengers, smugglers, whatever you want to call them. I was lucky enough to have a fellow Star Wars fan and a supporter and subscriber to the channel, Justin Oliver, reach out to me and say, hey, I can get you in contact with the guy that I use and see if he can give you a hand and help you out. Got me in touch with this great guy out in California, Justin Lee. Was able to pick one up for me, shipped it to me in just a few days. I've got it sitting here beside me, and we're going to take a look at it. Now, you may have seen it a little bit during the live stream that we did earlier in the week, but today we're going to look at it a little bit deeper and talk about some things about it. So let's go ahead and get to it. But before we do that, I do want to say thank you again very much to Justin Oliver for getting me in contact with Justin Lee, and thank you, Justin Lee, for hooking me up and being able to get this to me for the review videos. I do appreciate you guys. I appreciate the community out there of scavengers or smugglers, whatever you want to call them, whatever they call themselves. You guys do a great job to help a lot of people out that aren't able to get to those locations. So thank you very much. Now, with the particulars, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel if you are enjoying the content that's on here. I do appreciate it if you guys do. Down here in the corner, hit that like and subscribe button, tick the notification bell that's there. That way you get updates and notifications as to when the videos actually go live. I do update everybody via the socials that are down here across the bottom as to when those videos will drop. So if you're not following us on Instagram, Twitter, and on our Facebook page, check those out, because that's where I put out the updates to let you know when they are going to come out, just like this one was. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get over to the full screen. Let's take a look at this thing. So Excuse the background. I am still in the process of updating my room for you guys, so I know it looks like a disaster, especially over here. Please excuse that. It will get better as I have more time. I just could not, in good conscience, not be able to put out any videos to you guys while I was continuing to do this, because there is a lot for me to do in here. So anyway, enough with that. Here's the box. This is the lightsaber itself. Let me turn it here and show you. Now let me flip it over. And it does have the sleeve that has been coming with all of the bundle kits, and this is only available in the bundle currently. You cannot get this in the individual hilt plastic case that all the other legacy lightsabers have come in for since Galaxy's Edge opened. It's only coming this particular way. It's great in the fact that if you don't have a blade, you don't have the belt clip, you don't have a stand or anything like that, you get all that in these bundle kits. But if you're like myself and you've got plenty of those, it's just additional to put over in the corner. So, you know, it is what it is. If you want to wait for it to come out in the plastic case, if it ever does, you can get it that route. Otherwise, this is the way you're going to get it first. So, has a nice paper sleeve over the top of it. And if you can look in the light, my light reflections, you can see, like right in here, it's got different designs on here, from, you know, AT-AT walkers to the Mando logos, you know, like the Mythosaur helmet. I'm looking at it on the back here as well, because it's on the different sides and stuff. You got Yoda's head. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff on here that they have, which gives it a nice touch to the design. You've got the Star Wars logo, you know, down here on this end, and then the full look of the lightsaber on the box. As you rotate it, you got the same look on the side there. The back's got all of the warning information. Tells you also on this end, you know, how to access the battery compartment and all that, replacing the batteries. And then you've got the side over here, which of course is upside down. They flip it back over for you. You got your Star Wars logo, and a picture of the hilt, the blade, the belt clip, and the stand. So we're going to go ahead and take it out of the sleeve, and of course it is in the same kind of box that the bundles come in, as well as the way the Darksaber came out with. It has the blue Jedi logo on here, again indicating the color of the blade, because every single one of them that's come out, the logo color is the blade color that's on there, just so you know that. Let's go ahead and open it up and take a look at the contents. So inside, as you can see, we have the stand, the belt clip, the hilt itself. You've got the plastic pieces for the stand and everything. And we'll take a look at those as well. Underneath the foam tray, and I'm going to take this out and set it on the desk here, you have the rest of the contents, which is, of course, your blade emitter, so that way you can actually put the blade on. You've got directions and information down there on the end, little pamphlets that are inside, and that is your contents. So we're going to go ahead and take out the display emitter and the blade, and we're going to sit this box over out of the way. Alright, so we're going to pull the contents out of here and show you what we've got. Firstly, we have the display stand that the hilt comes with. It's got the plastic insert piece that, you know, just drops in and slides in place. And I'm not going to put this together because I'm not going to be using the stand, so I'm not going to keep it out. But you basically insert it, you slide this piece up, and it locks into place. And then on the end of that, you have these little plastic arms that basically go on. They go on the side, kind of like that, and you get the two of them on there, and the hilt can, you know, display. Actually, flip it the other way, so they go like this, so the hilt can lean back and display in there. Like I said, I don't like using that display because I just don't think it looks that good compared to the way I normally display mine. So that's the reason why I don't use that. But it is a decent display stand. It's a lot better than the lay down style that they sell at the parks that you can get. That honestly, I've always had issues with the sabers, you know, staying in place on those. You've got your belt clip. Has the little clip here on the back for you, and then the buttons on there for release and the groove on there. Now this particular one does not, if you can see there on the bottom, it does not have the fold out metal clip for D-rings to be able to use on it. So this is specifically made to work with this saber, which does have a cover tech wheel. Now that's how that belt clip works. So underneath, as I said, you have one of the standard 31-inch blades that comes with it, but then you also, because of the way it's designed, you have this display emitter. I'm not really fond of the fat display emitters. However, when you look at the way that the hilt itself looks, it's not as bad as like the Leia version or even the Luke version. All right, so let's go ahead and jump over to the Kyber cam and we'll take a look at this saber up close. So here we are. This is what the saber looks like. I really like the way this saber is designed. It's got some really nice weathering down here on the end, around the you know, the small neck here that you've got, the kind of a copper versus the brass coloring on there on the thin neck. You've got the grenade style grip that's on there that's got some nice weathering. You can see how along here it's missing some of the paint, you know, on that design there. I mean, it looks really nice. Also on the fins, you've got the same thing down here on the regular grip area on the bottom by the cover tech wheel. I, of course, haven't taken the battery or the stickers off of this one particular one yet, just mainly because it's, you know, it's been in the box. I haven't actually got it out for display. Going ahead and rotating it here, you know, you don't have the switches on the side. You've got the nice switch, you know, the push forward and push back switch for activation of the blade. As you rotate it, you've got your warning sticker, of course. You got your sticker across the bottom, which those will come off. You've got the accents here. This sticker, which is nice that this particular sticker is a sticker, mainly because of the fact that the warning labels that have been on some of the Hasbro Black Series, especially the most recent one being the Leia version. Our friends over at Finding the Force did a review of that one and showed where this particular warning logo was massive on there. It was huge, real major eyesore, jumped out at you because of where they place it at. But as you can see here, this one here is not that bad. Unless you go really looking for it, it's hard to see. Now, I will say, I do think that with the fact that they have the switch right here, they would have been better putting this on the back side so that they wouldn't be able to be seen as well. You know, that's just an oversight on quality control, in my opinion, from Disney, you know, and whoever they have that's actually making these for them. So anyway, enough with that. Let's go ahead and take a look. You know, with this, of course, being a thin neck, we can't use the regular blade in the thin neck. So you do have the thick neck adapter to be able to put on this one. Now, normally I don't like the big thick neck adapters. I think they're bulky. I think they're ugly. But this particular one's not as bad, and I think a lot of it is just because of the fact that they did go in and they weathered it to match the weathering pretty closely to the display neck, if you want to call it, the display emitter piece here. They've got the darkening around the edges here of the emitter, the brass area, and then, you know, or the brass and the copper, the way it is. They really made it look good with the way that they kind of matched that up. Makes it where it's not as bad. Now, I will say, I'm not going to be leaving this particular one on my saber, of course, because most of my legacy sabers are displayed. I don't go and battle with them or anything like that because, I mean, let's be honest, legacy sabers aren't designed to be able to, and engineered to be able to handle, you know, like heavy dueling or anything like that. You know, if you try to, you're going to damage them. And me personally, I don't want to damage, you know, a collectible or an investment, however you want to look at it. So let's go ahead and take a look. The one thing that I think that Disney did fail on as far as the weathering and the design on this, I'm going to show you. And that is in the middle of the emitter. They really should have done some weathering inside there. I don't know if they just decided not to paint that. It looks like it's machined aluminum down inside. You know, there's nothing in there. It does have the accents around the edge here, so it does look more like a lightsaber in the way that it's supposed to. But I think that they should have darkened that up, especially to be able to match the coloration. Let me pull the blade plug out. The coloration of the blade portion of the emitter where the blade goes in. They really should have tried to match that up better, in my personal opinion, but that's just me. So let's go ahead and move from our kyber cam back to a full cam, get this thing out of the way, and take a look at the lightsaber itself with the blade in. So of course, first we have to, you know, get our blade emitter on and prepare it for use. Now, I did take the batteries out of this when I first got it because I don't like leaving my batteries in there. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know good and well that I don't leave my batteries in my hilts, mainly because of the fact that I don't want them to leak in any way, shape, or form. And let's be honest, Disney has never used, you know, anything good as far as batteries go. I mean, how many times, you know, people that have bought a saber, taken it home, they have to change the batteries because it's not working properly. The batteries are pretty bad. So I did take the batteries out of this one. So we're going to go ahead and cover how to get access and replace the batteries on this particular hilt so I can put batteries in here. So you have your end cap, you know, you just twist it here and you pull off the pommel end cap. Now you'll notice that mine is not squeaking, and I'll show you why. I take all of my hilts now and I use a silicone grease. Okay, it's a lube grease, multi-purpose synthetic that you can get, you know, Lowe's, Home Depot. I ordered this one off of Amazon. I put a little bit around the thread, smeared in with my finger. It helps to make sure that your threads don't get cross-threaded, which can damage it, make it where you can't get your pieces back together properly, but also gets rid of that squeak that you get, that metal on metal when they're rubbing together. So we've got the pommel cap off. Here's the emitter. Now, one thing I will point out is this pommel cap is completely open. Okay, the chrome design for the speaker is actually part of the battery chassis, so it's actually built into this particular one. And of course, just like any of the other ones, you have to take the screw out to be able to put your batteries in or change your batteries to access the battery compartment. So you loosen the screw, take the sleeve off, put your batteries in. Now, a lot of people say, hey, you know, you could use lithium batteries in these and they won't leak. They are correct from what I've seen, but let's be honest here. You know how much that would be in lithium batteries? Yeah, that'd be a pretty good amount. And that's not just, I mean, that bag is only the AAAs. That's not even the AA batteries that some of the Hilts do require you to use. So you know, if you're doing it here and there, that's one thing. But if you're going to go and replace all of your Hilts, you know, and as you can tell, I've got a couple of them back there, and I'm sure you probably do as well. Can get expensive pretty quick. So, got the new batteries inside. Put them in the chassis, and we're going to get that notch lined up and thread the pommel cap back on. Everything's on there, and we are ready to go. Let's go ahead and get the stock blade. Now, this is the blade that we took out of the package earlier, and I have noticed this is really, really snug. So you've got to get some force to get this blade to slide in. Now, I don't know if it's just mine that's like that. Yours may not be like that. Yours may slide in perfectly fine. If it does, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious. I haven't tried any other blades in this one here, except I did try my Jaymoo blade. And if you have a Jaymoo blade, we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. So I've got it in. I can't even get it in hardly enough to be able to turn and lock it in place. But there we go. And power up. So there's our sound. I'll put it up by the microphone so you guys can hear it. I do like how when you have the movement sound on this one here, you get the occasional double sound. Yeah, one. You get 1, 2. So you get that on occasion. That is a nice fact because they don't have that on a lot of them that I've seen. Our Clash, you got that same thing on the Clash. You get single, 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 double, which is a nice additive feature. The only other one that has a different effect for the Clash is, of course, the Ray, which will do that flashing flicker that hers has. So that's a little bit different. Turn it off, same turn off. You know, you get the sectional turn off. So let me go ahead and take that blade out. Very snug, by the way. We're going to look at the Jaymoo blade. Now, if you have this lightsaber and you've tried the Jaymoo blade in it, you'll see you may have this issue, you may not. I don't know how many people out there have this saber yet and have the Jaymoo blade, but I have gotten in contact with James at Jaymoo's Playground to talk about this, because one of the issues that I have, and if you have a Jaymoo blade, you know that the way you cycle through the sound fonts, or the profiles as he calls them, is to reactivate the blade as it's powering off. This one, for some reason, will not do that. Now, that may be something that has been changed in the programming or the software, firmware, whatever that's inside this hilt that doesn't allow it to work. I've brought that information to James at Jaymoo, and he's going to be working on that. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So, as you can see, I am stuck on this one. I have yet to be able to get it to change back to blue, because when I go to turn it off and back on, it won't change. And with the Jaymoo blade, one thing that, let me turn it off. One of the things many people know about with the Jaymoo blade is it has a nice slow, smooth ignition and then a smooth turn off, kind of like your NeoPixel blades do. This particular hilt, when you turn it off, it does not have a smooth bring back in of the blade. It just goes off, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Turn it on, it's got the blade on, and you saw how it turned on like it's supposed to. When you turn it off, it'll just go off. Boop, and it just shuts off. That particular fact is making it to where my Jaymoo blade will not change the sound fonts and the profiles like it's supposed to with this hilt. Now, I've tried it in all of my other hilts to make sure it's not something else going on. Every other hilt that I've put it in, it's worked perfectly fine. So, with that being the case, I'm hoping that James over at Jaymoo's Playground will be able to get this taken care of for us real soon. It may just be a software update. It may not be anything that can be done about it. It may just be something with this particular hilt, but hopefully we'll find out soon. Once I get an update, I'll try to let you guys know via one of our social medias, so that way you'll have an information on what's going on with it and if anything can be done about it. So, but anyway, that being the case, what do you think about the new Obi-Wan Legacy Lightsaber? The style that they feature in the Obi-Wan series, very similar to the one that's in Episode 1. Well, the first movie, Episode 4, A New Hope. What do you guys think about it? Do you like it? Do you think that they could have done a better job? I mean, it is Legacy. We all know how Legacy is. But I'm curious to know your opinions on it. Do you have it yet? If you haven't, are you looking at getting this one? Or are you going to wait and see what the Force Effects Elite from Hasbro looks like? Who knows? I may try to pick one of those up if I can find it and if I can afford it. So, anyway, with that, I will say thank you for joining me tonight. I do appreciate you guys coming out, taking the time out of your busy schedules to listen to me ramble about Star Wars. Don't forget, one more time, double check the socials, like and subscribe to the channel, hit the button down here in the corner. It definitely helps us out on trying to improve the channel, improve the content, and be able to continue doing what I'm doing for you guys. So thanks again for all your support. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, may the Force be with you. Good night.